New video courtesy of Podcast Cringe, aka More Cringe, about the Epstein thing. I know some of you are bored and tired of this topic, but let's just watch it anyway and see what he's got to say. This is courtesy of Podcast Cringe, More Cringe. The title of the video is Epstein Cover-Up Just Got Worse. The Epstein Cover-Up Just Got Worse, courtesy of More Cringe. Let's check out what he's got to say. Let's check out what he's got to say.
So I'm saying we're in a maximum danger right now because Trump just dropped the hammer, man.
The nuke.
He just dropped the nuke.
Yeah. So where do we go from here? Because
that should be the headline. Trump just dropped a nuke on the deep state. Trump just took the gloves off. Trump just manned up. Trump just leveled up. And people don't get how huge this is. This is mega mother.
Oh yeah, he was on here calling. I think I saw a clip the other day on social of this episode where Alex Jones drops the nigger. He drops a hard nigger on it. It's fucking funny. I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. He pulled up with a bottle of Hennessy, I think. Is it Hennessy? Yeah, I think he pulled up with a bottle of Hennessy. He pulled up with a bottle of Hennessy to blend in with the Fresh and Fit boys. So fucking funny. I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. Maybe I'll try and replay it. He was like, yeah, I'm the white nigger or something. So, okay.
Okay, that's as much.
Yeah.
This is mega motherfucking
show, bro.
Well, I don't normally do this.
No,
but I mean, this is fucking awesome. This is everything we wanted.
Last night, there was a big bombshell breaking. All Epstein files released. But it turns out, that's just a fucking lie. That's just a big-time, full-blown fib. There are no new files.
It looks like he's mostly just a fixer, a guy who advises. He helps people with their problems. Sometimes those problems are, you need a girl.
He's a sex rabbi.
You sit here and you attack
Fox News people, boy. Fox News people. Fox News are running the Brian Callen script, isn't it? Fox News are doing the Brian Callen script. He was just a horny guy. He was a sex fixer. Are you for real? That's all he was, yeah? Okay, cool.
the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin.
We're officially living
the Dow. Yo, Pam Bondi, man. Pam Bondi, you're a disgrace. The Dow.
in a simulation. There is no way this timeline could possibly be part of any organic form of life. The levels of gaslighting and shitfuckery we're witnessing are on a whole other level compared to anything we've seen before. This has now turned into the biggest political cover-up in modern history. Like nothing else even comes close. This makes Watergate look like Obama's tan suit in comparison. Just when you thought we were finally getting some transparency after the first major Epstein file drop at the end of January, they pulled the ultimate yeah nah on everybody and just straight up decided not to release the rest of the files. We're talking millions and millions more files that were meant to drop on February 15th that just never came. Instead, the president's golden retriever sent out a letter to Congress over the weekend saying that all the documents held by the DOJ required to be released under the Epstein Transparency Act have now already been released. That's it. They're all out there now.
Crazy, innit? They saw the damage. The first drop down. They couldn't lit the second drop because people are hypothesizing. People are saying that the second drop is actually worse. What's left is actually way worse than the first drop, if that's possible. So this was likely to happen, innit? It was very unlikely they were going to drop the second one. But people are saying that whatever's left is going to be far worse than what we got so far.
Nothing more to see here.
It's weird though because they should just drop it anyway because it's not as if they're gonna. No one's going to get imprisoned. No one's going to get convicted or charged. No one. I mean, nothing's going to happen to these people. So most of these people haven't even lost their jobs. You know what I mean? Most of these people have still kept their jobs. So I don't even know what they're scared of for. They should just drop it anyway. Fuck it.
Time to move on.
Look, it was a phone call that may or may not have happened in 2006. I don't know the answer to that question. What I'm telling you is that what President Trump has always said is that he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club because Jeffrey Epstein was a creep, and that remains true. And this call, if it did happen, corroborates exactly what President Trump has said from the beginning. And I'm sure many of you, when you read that
This call, if it did happen, is hilarious.
That alleged FBI report, probably thought to yourself, wow, this really cracks our narrative that we've been trying to push about this president for many years.
Not really, because if that story, again, it's such a clever little spin in it, because they make it sound like Trump is the one that snitched on Epstein to the FBI, when in actuality, what that phone call was Trump talking to some FBI agent at the time and telling him that, yeah, he always thought Epstein was a bad guy, but this was many years after they'd had a falling out. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they're trying to paint it as it was Trump kind of tattletaling or, you know, ringing the fucking FBI hotline and telling them about somebody and providing information and and taking a stand or whatever it also may be. No, it was just Trump having an, I guess, somewhat off the record conversation with an FBI detective that he was friends with and letting him know over the phone that, yeah, I also wasn't a fan of this guy. If anything, it was Trump maybe kicking Epstein while he was down. You know what I mean? While everybody kind of deserted him and he was getting charged and investigated and shit, that's when he decided to call the FBI and say something. But when Trump was in his good graces, when Trump was allegedly hanging around with Epstein and Ghislaine with fucking Melania, he didn't call the FBI, did he? He didn't call the FBI. Exactly. So it's a very clever spin, a very little clever, subtle spin that they've done on that story.
So we're moving on from that.
Could she not just confirm whether or not the phone call actually took place? The reporter was asking her about the veracity of the alleged phone call made by Trump back in 2006 to the police chief in...
By the way, no offense to the lady, but she looks fucking wrecked for... I think she's like 28 allegedly, isn't it? Allegedly this woman's 28, but her skin looks like she looks wrecked for a 28-year-old. She looks like she could be 48, let alone 28. Like, she looks crazy for 28. Don't get me wrong, this angle's not the greatest. I don't think a lot of people will look that good with the camera zoomed in that close to your face, but for a 28-year-old, she looks fucking fried.
Palm Beach, Florida, where Trump said that Epstein likes younger girls and that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were up to no good.
But to be fair to her, a lot of women nowadays, no matter what age they are, they're really heavy on the, you know, on the fucking cosmetic shit, you know? They're really heavy on the fucking cosmetic shit, so maybe that's probably why she looks like that. They kind of abuse suntans, they abuse fucking sunbeds and shit. They abuse fucking Botox, they abuse filler. She probably got some shit on her lip, you know what I mean? So they abuse all that shit. So that might be the reason why she looks like the way she does. If she just would have, it's kind of like, you know, it's one of the negatives of the beauty standards nowadays being what they are, you know what I mean? But allegedly she's 28. That's what I remember hearing online. She's 28 allegedly, this lady.
Except now the White House can't even verify if it's true, but if it is true and it did take place, then it proves Trump was right all along. But we can't know for sure. I mean, it's not like she could just go at the fucking back and ask him. Jesus. That's besides the point though, because now that everything is supposedly out in the open, it's time to move on. Unfortunately, though, some of Trump's staunchest public supporters are now starting to finally ask questions.
The Epstein shit is just so crazy. We were talking about this before, like how do you actually even untangle the web of debauchery and criminality that's connected with all of the most elite institutions and people around the world? I don't know how. I don't know if there's like a singular thread that like ties everything neatly together. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like you go through the emails and you're just like, okay.
If you wanted to untie all of it, right, and unravel the whole thing, you'd charge somebody, you know. But the people involved are just too powerful, too higher up, too rich. They're not going to avoid any charges. But if one person got charged, it would probably be a domino effect and everybody else will come knocking down, you know. It'd probably make the others maybe scurry away and run, you know, like fucking cockroaches. But unless one person gets charged, nothing's really going to change. Most likely, as Tim Dillon has said, there's probably other Epstein Islands right now being, you know, operated and ran. There's probably other Epsteins still there doing their things out in public and shit. So, you know, this thing ain't gonna stop until somebody actually gets charged and thrown in prison for a long time. But that won't happen anytime soon.
Okay, everyone's kind of connected. Yeah. They've only released half, for the record.
Yeah. And
like,
it's enough to incriminate Everyone. Isn't that crazy? Like just
Wait, it's only half. I thought we're like
there's
at
like
2/3 now.
I don't know, but there's like a few million.
Yeah, big
more.
up Eve Martinez.
I think
Big
the
up,
total
big up.
like that was recovered was like 6 million individual files, and they've released like
Big up
3
on 10
million or something
toes.
to that effect.
Wow.
It's completely changed most people's narrative of what happened. Like we had this sort of vague understanding, you know, but when you see in the email like clear evidence that they're talking about children.
Not we. You had a vague understanding. Most of us in the public knew what was going on because most of us had done the research to read some of the files, maybe watch some of the videos from YouTubers like CoffeeZilla who kind of, you know, summarized most of the findings, the biggest ones anyway. Most of us were keeping our eyes on it, keeping our ears to the ground. Rogan was the one that was immediately pouring cold water on it, being skeptical, trying to downplay it, similar to what Brian Cannon was doing. But you have to give him credit. You know, you have to give him credit for eventually coming around. But I don't like this whole like, oh, the collective we were not really aware of what was going on and how bad it was. No. Most of the public was. Most of the public that is, you know, in tune and watching the news and keeping abreast of this whole Epstein thing, they were aware, myself included. I did a couple searches of the files and read some stuff. I watched tons of fucking videos from other creators who kind of summarize things. I read articles. You know, I was on fucking social media like all of us were and seeing things that were popping up on the feed. So most of us were aware of what was going on. Rogan was the one that was trying to be blissfully unaware, you know, burying his head in the sand. But I'm glad to hear he's come around, seen what he's seen, and now realize that it's really fucking dark and sad and bad.
In pretty obscene ways.
Horrifying ways. Well, I just don't think we really knew until we saw those files come out.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, well, there's no denying it now. My position on it is completely shifted. I thought there's probably some really sick people that have an appetite for that, but I hadn't seen any real evidence for it until these files. And now I'm like, oh, this is demonic. This is clearly demonic.
Okay, so thank you for saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, none of that matters, though, because as we saw earlier, the unofficial position from the White House is that the president was actually an Epstein whistleblower. The January release confirms that, and so now it's time to move on. But it seems like some wires have been crossed over the past week, because according to insider Alex Jones, who appeared on Fresh and Fit yesterday for an emergency podcast, the scheduled February 15 file release was supposed to be even worse than the January one.
Jesus Christ.
So Trump, according to my sources who were in the meetings, yesterday and this morning, called him and he said, listen.
Who called him this morning? Sorry.
He had meetings yesterday and today with his cabinet.
Oh, okay.
This is
You mean
exclusive.
Trump having this morning? Okay.
This is exclusive.
Yeah.
No one knows this. I've talked to multiple people, one that was in the room and other people that heard about it. Notice Bondi 3 days ago, or Thursday, was in that congressional hearing. Yeah. And she goes, it'll crash the stock market and bring down the system, I tell you. But finally Trump got, oh my God, it's going to crash it anyways. I've been double-crossed. So this morning, he said, you're all fired. This is people in the meeting.
Wow.
He said, you're all fired. He said, listen, motherfuckers, I'm sick of being tied to this shit. I'm the one that dropped a dime on him 18 years ago. He goes, you're all fucking fired if it isn't fucking released. Do you fucking understand me?
Wow.
They released the whole list of anybody in his files. They released 3 million more files, and Trump said, I will fire every goddamn one of you. Because they came to him and said, sir, they say your wife's a hooker. So they were fucking with him and telling him, you don't want to do this. They tricked him, and now Trump went thermonuclear. He finally listened to us. They have already been accessed to this, okay? And they said, if you think the Satanism and the cannibalism and the blood drinking is bad in what you saw before, they said what is in these new files is going to shake everybody. And they warned you, don't even look at it if you don't want to have nightmares. I mean, this is, folks, this is the Death Star. This will be a day long remembered.
I believe him, man. I know he's full of shit sometimes, but I believe him because that first drop was already dark, innit? The first drop was already dark. The first drop was already quite depressing. The first drop basically made everyone aware that, you know, the powers that be around the world are essentially, you know, PDFs and abusers and rapists and shit. And they basically, you know, swan around the world with little to no regard of human life and shit. And they get away with it for the most part. So I can only imagine what's in the other drops. I can only imagine. We will eventually get it anyway. I think public pressure is where it's at the moment. We will eventually get it. Maybe not right now, maybe not soon, but we will eventually see it. But I have no doubt that it's going to be dark. It's going to be very, very dark.
I mean, this is mega freaking massive. So I'm saying we're in a maximum danger right now because Trump just dropped the fucking hammer, man.
The nuke.
He just dropped the nuke.
Yeah. So where do we go from here? Because
I think that should be the headline. Trump just dropped a fucking nuke on the deep state. Trump just took the gloves off. Trump just manned up. Trump just leveled up. And people don't get how huge this is. This is mega mother. Okay, that's as much.
Yeah.
This is mega mother.
For sure, bro.
Well, I don't normally do this, but I mean, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, you do. You swear all the time. I don't usually fucking do this. Yeah, you do. I don't usually fucking do this. It's crazy, bro.
Everything we wanted. And let me tell you, they ain't getting out of this. I mean, the stuff, I was driving over here just looking at the stuff, and your crew's always doing small talk. I was kind of like, I mean, it's just cannibalism, murdering kids, delivering sex slaves. I mean, it's just
Jesus Christ.
So you tell me what I want to show. God, I mean, this is...
dude.
Well, it turns out that Alex Jones was wrong. But just as a side note, I've got a question. If Pam Bondi declared over the weekend that no further files exist and nothing else is being released, then what the fuck was Alex Jones reading while he was in the car on the way over there? Someone should look into that. But the way the White House just burnt a bunch of their bigger supporters is crazy. They fed them all the talking points, but then didn't follow through. Instead, they just released a letter saying it's no more files, that's everything. Oh, and here are all the names you need to know about from the Epstein files, but not the actual remaining files, if that makes sense. And it's not lost on me that it's 2026 and we're watching Alex Jones announcing exclusive breaking news on the Fresh and Fit podcast, which turns out to be completely false and made up. Maybe it never happened at all, just like that phone call to the Palm Beach chief of police. But if it did happen, well, then Trump's actually the hero of the entire Epstein saga. Go figure. Believe it or not, it does actually get worse though, because not only has the White House just blatantly lied and decided not to release the rest of the files, the media is now also pushing the narrative that Epstein was a Russian asset. And I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, the Russian angle is fucking crazy, man. This new Russian narrative is fucking insane. I don't know where they pull this one out from, but the Russian angle is fucking nuts. Who's fucking buying that? Who is buying that? Who's buying the fucking Russian angle? Absolutely insane talk, man.
Have to admit, it totally makes sense when you think about it.
I think I'm now kind of leaning towards believing mainstream media, especially CBS and CNN under Barry Weiss and Larry Ellison. I mean, the evidence is there that he is actually a Russian asset. His girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was the daughter of a Mossad super spy. He was represented by you, Mr. Dershowitz, Israel's favorite lawyer, who you're also a lawyer to the Mossad, which, of course, everything you tell us will be true. Ehud Barak was at his place the whole time. He fled to Israel when he was charged with sex crimes. And he was pictured wearing an IDF shirt. He was funded by pro-Israel fanatics. He worked for the Rothschild. He donated to pro-Israel student groups. He was responsible for the Wagner's group's pro-Israel philanthropy. He supported Israel.
How convenient is that? All made up, all fake, all made up, all fake. I don't know what screams you're hearing, but they're not screams. The little kids playing. No one's in my basement, all made up. No one's in my attic, all made up. Jeffrey was a nice guy.
Projects. His friends were all Zionists. He referred to us as Goyim. He was involved in Israel diplomacy effort. He brokered security deals with Israel. And even a former Israeli intelligence officer, Ari Ben Menashe, like Mr. Ryan Grimm said, he said he ran a honeypot for Israel. So yes, of course, he was definitely a Russian spy.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
See, when you lay it all out, the evidence all points to Epstein being a Russian asset, working as part of a Russian honeypot.
Fucking Vladimir Putin somewhere like, what you say fuck me for? You know what I mean? Vladimir Putin somewhere like, what you say fuck me for? Always with the Russia shit, innit? Always with the Russia angle.
Operation to blackmail and influence the most powerful people in the world for their own.
Yo, big up Assad
Who's
Aziz.
believing this? Oh, Moon. Russians are bad, Moon. Mike Baker said so, Moon. It's possible, Moon. Russian fighters have strict discipline, Moon.
Who's believing this, man? Yeah, man. Russians, man. Because Posadas is.
Advantage. My only question here is, if everyone seems to think that Epstein was a Russian spy, why the fuck isn't there an investigation into the biggest US intelligence breach in history? Are we seriously supposed to believe that a Russian intelligence operation that was based on US soil, which took place for 3 to 4 decades, potentially compromising US presidents, billionaires, academics, politicians, and media elites, isn't being treated as an act of war from one of the US's most historically hostile adversaries? Where's the investigation, or are we simply moving on from that as well? Sounds like one big nothing burger, to be honest. Who cares anyway? The Dow's over 50,000. Who cares about one of the biggest international trafficking rings in history that was supposedly an intelligence op by the Russians to breach?
Just think of the fact that the Clintons still haven't been questioned, you know, severely over this is fucking wild, isn't it? They've kind of got away with it scot-free. Wasn't there a picture of Bill Clinton looking like or a clip of him looking like he's getting sloppy toppy in the fucking pool? Like he was all up in fucking Epstein's room, Epstein's abode. Do you know what I mean? He was enjoying every part of that lifestyle. Nothing so far. Fucking hell.
The highest offices in the United States. Meh, no big deal, right? I feel like that trader in The Big Short that got frustrated when he realized the mortgage market was crashing, but the value of the assets they were shorting just kept going up. And so he says it's like 2 + 2 = fish. Except in this situation, it's more like 2 + 2 = fuck off and stop asking questions. 1 minute we're told full transparency is coming. The next minute we're told everything has already been released. Exactly. Then suddenly the story morphs into, actually, this was a foreign intelligence op the whole time. Looks like Russia. Yep, that's exactly what it is. If Trump was the lone whistleblower hero, why can't they...
Ooh, look at that little Chanel top. Look at that little Chanel top. Look at the little Chanel tweed top she's got on. Fucking cute little top there. Little Chanel piece. Love it.
Confirm the basic facts of the alleged phone call.
Little Chanel tweed jacket there. Gotta love it. Little Chanel tweed jacket. It must pay well, innit? Being a White House press secretary pays well. White House press secretary pays well.
If Epstein was a Russian asset running a decades-long honeypot targeting American elites, why isn't that being treated like the geopolitical bombshell of the fucking century? You can't simultaneously tell the public this was the biggest trafficking ring in modern history and a hostile intelligence operation, and then just shrug your shoulders and say, yeah, so anyway, how about the Dow? And this has nothing to do with left versus right. This is so much bigger and more serious than the partisan culture wars that have been keeping everyone distracted for so many years. This clearly threatens to wipe out the entire upper class, and not just in the United States. Heads are already rolling in other countries. Politicians and businessmen are being forced to resign. Multiple investigations across Europe have already started up. So at some point you have to admit this isn't about left versus right anymore.
I think Mandelson might be the only politician that's resigned off the back of the files being leaked, you know, weirdly enough. Or even that fucking princess, or that princess of Norway, or whatever, that was all up in the emails. I don't think she's had to step away from her royal family at all. So really, it's only the people in the UK that have suffered the consequences. Prince Andrew's been stripped of his royal, you know, titles and shit. He doesn't live. He's had to move out of the main house and shit. He's lost a lot. Mandelson's obviously lost everything so far, but nobody else, I think, has really been fired or anything else along those kind of lines, or even arrested or anything.
It's about preservation of the upper class on both sides by the upper class. This is like one giant-ass reputational damage control operation. This is so much worse than anyone thought it would be, and can we just stop and appreciate the irony of Alex Jones and Joe Rogan flipping roles? For years, Alex was warning everybody about this, and no one believed him. Rogan even stopped having him on his podcast after the last time, where he kept pulling him up and getting Jamie to fact-check every little thing he said. But now we've got Rogan sitting in his studio looking confused with his face all scrunched up, admitting that he's finally changed his opinions on the Epstein situation now that he's seen some actual evidence. Meanwhile, Alex Jones is running cover for the White House, who managed to make him look like a complete idiot in the space of 48 hours. The contradictions are piling up, and it's all become so confusing that nobody knows what's going on anymore. The only thing we know for certain is that there's a massive cover-up happening right now in front of us, except no one has the balls to do anything about it. And all these White House and government department heads are probably all scrambling behind the scenes, begging for presidential pardons in
It's kind of crazy how they both got these jobs in it, man. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Attorney General and head of FBI. Like, you couldn't pick two more useless people, innit? You couldn't pick two more useless, underqualified people for these roles. It's kind of crazy, man. Kind of fucking crazy. But fair play. It actually might be a bit of a masterstroke from Trump, innit? Actually might be a bit of a masterstroke from Trump. You get people in who are a little bit, you know, who aren't probably the most qualified for the roles, maybe a little bit controversial in terms of the hiring them. And because they're going to be underqualified, they're going to try and overcompensate. They're going to get involved in spats and they're going to crash out. They're going to do nonsense. And it's going to really distract everybody from all the stuff that you're doing up above, you know? So maybe it's a smart idea from Trump to hire people like Kash Patel, like Pam Bondi, because they're gonna obviously create their own headlines, and that's going to distract or give you time to do what you need to do, you know, with little to no distraction or inquisitive eyes and shit. Who knows? But big up Podcast Cringe, big up More Cringe, big up Podcast Cringe, big up More Cringe. That's the title of the video there. You can check it out if you're that way inclined. That's the title of the video there. Epstein cover-up just got worse. Check it out if you're that way inclined.